Park Commission, March 11th, 2024, will come to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I need to make a change to the agenda. We have to add one more thing, so I don't know if we want to put that at the top or the bottom, but I'll say at the bottom, we can grab I, and that's approval for the BBA to get reimbursed or partially reimbursed for a picnic that they're having at Carr. Any other changes? Anybody wants to make? Do you want to move anything around?
Not that I saw.
Do we want to put skate park down the bottom? Because that's going to be a lot of discussion.
As long as it was after the, that's where, hold on, the booth and what our feedback was, that's, no, I don't know why. I'd leave it where it's at, it's fine.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's actually here.
We added I, which is BBA
Yeah.
on approval for shelter rental.
All right, I make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the item I.
I'll motion to approve.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Approval of the minutes of the February 26, 2024 Park Commission meeting and the two cow meetings on that same day.
Motion to approve.
Harold, your mic on?
Aye. Aye.
Yeah.
It's not on you.
Oh, it's not on me. Thank you.
Aye.
Whoops.
Here we go.
Aye.
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 We're doing minutes.
Minutes are done. Minutes are approved. Okay, signing per diem slips. Secretary's report. Anything?
Nothing report.
Nothing report. Moving on to the treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, we got a lot on there. It's total $29,145.50. The majority of that being the $25,000 to community ed. Then we have two bills from Clum Brothers for concrete dumpsters for the Palm Park demolition at $309 each. And then we had Bedford Fence replaced a gate and did some other work such as adjusting a gate at Anstead Park, and that is $985. The dumpsters to do the demolition at Palmerley Park for the skate park were $700 and
We probably cycled them 4 times, yeah.
two different companies, yeah, because it was,
Plum was specific for concrete only.
yeah.
Stevens wouldn't take concrete.
Well, they would take concrete, but it was
way more.
Yeah, it was a much larger difference in price.
It's accurate.
So it was 4 dumpsters equaling out to $700 and $700 and $750. Portable toilets for that month were $712.50.
I assume that's the prepay for the next month because we
Yes.
prepay them.
Yes.
So that's back up to our full spring.
Nope, that is not. We've not put out the spring porta johns yet.
That's on the agenda today.
Refuse collection, because we cut the dumpsters back for the winter all the way to being on call, except for car park, where our bill was only $80 for the last month. Which we are going to be changing that service back as well. And then we have 2 bills from 2 Mates to Clean, which were both just deep cleans at Samaria and Carr at $150 each.
Those hauls out for the last month.
We had one at Carr over the past month. They must have missed it because that's why we called them to come and do a deep clean.
Yep.
So yeah, it's accurate based on what was rented. They start picking up end of this month, or there were 2 at Carr over this past weekend.
Thank you.
I'll motion to approve with no changes.
I'll second.
All right. So, Chaz?
I will approve, other than that $715 for the porta toilets is the full-time summer rate. So they are billing us for what we should have been.
That's not the full-time summer rate.
Okay. Then I'll look more at it.
Probably gone off. All right.
I have it here if you want to look at it. Yeah.
All right, Chris?
Yes.
Carol says yes.
Aye.
Andrew, Aaron? All right, motion passed. All right, community education, Nancy is not here. They sent us a little notice. She says, thank you. We are so appreciative of the continued support of the community education program in Bedford. We truly value our ongoing partnership with the Parks Board. March Madness continues through the end of March with over 120 students in grades K through 3 participating. The elementary gyms are filled each evening with practices, and Monroe Road Elementary hosts the games each Saturday. Volleyball for grades 3 through 5 and 6 through 8 begins this week with 12 teams, 8 in grades 3 through 5 and 4 in grades 6 to 8. The coaches and players are set to practice at the junior high school. Games will begin after spring break and run through May 4th. The spring brochure is ready to roll out this week with 13 programs for adults and 22 for kids, including a mother-son bowling event in May. Registration for many of the spring programs opened on Friday before the trade fair, and soccer already has 160 kids signed up. We just received confirmation that we are able to move some of the soccer fields to the old soccer stadium. Moving them has allowed us to open up diamonds at Indian Creek to several of the 3B and travel teams through June. In June, T-ball and softball will start up, but we will work with those teams to provide times when possible. I just met with our summer parks manager and have put things in motion for 7 to 8 field trips and other fun for the students in grades K through 5. They'll meet at Jackman Road Elementary. Safety Town, art classes, and more are now open as well. Again, we appreciate your continued support. Thank you, Nancy Crandall. All right. Presentations, we had Manick and Smith going to step up regarding the courts at Cars Grove.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just going to really just go through the plans that we had presented. As most of you know, we had taken this project for improvements at Car Park for the removal of the existing tennis courts, new pickleball courts, and a new tennis court. So this is the existing plan sheet. As most of you know, we have the 2 existing tennis courts here, a fence that goes around those tennis courts, and then some workout equipment in the back here. So really, the extent of what we were asked to do was to remove these tennis courts, add 4 pickleball courts, remove this workout equipment here, and add another tennis court kind of coming back. So this is the tentative layout there of the courts. If
That's what I presented.
not sure how to move this here. So you can see there's an existing county drain that runs along the south line here. The edge of the existing fence and where the proposed pickleball courts would go are right at the edge of that drain easement. In this particular design and the cost estimates, we're assuming we're putting new fence all the way around these. This will also have the tennis court back here, and most of this is going to drain off to the kind of south and east, and there's an existing kind of catch basin down here. So the grading's been kind of fit into the existing park. There is a little bit of grading we're going to have to do along the back side here to get that to match in, but it's really a pretty basic design, really. This is all shed to kind of come off to this one corner. There's not a lot of slope on this. Because we're proposing asphalt, this is probably going to be more of 2% by the time they put it in. We can try to go less of a grade on that, but when you get a grade that flat, it's hard to pave that with asphalt. If you were doing it in concrete, you can get a much flatter surface because they form it. But this, it's a lot more expensive to go with concrete though also. What we're proposing for the surface, there's two different alternatives. You can either paint this surface, so the lines can be painted on the black asphalt. You have different colors in these different areas of the pickleball court. Paint is generally cheaper. It also doesn't last as long, but it does, when it's fresh, it does give a really nice appearance and really sets off against the black asphalt. The other option is a tartan surface, which is more of a rubberized surface. It's going to last a little longer, but it is a lot more expensive. That you can get, doesn't have to be painted as often either. So I'll open. Does everyone have a copy of these by chance? I can pass these out if not.
We did
I
at
think
the
we've
last
got 'em.
meeting, yeah.
Okay.
Last meeting, yeah.
Okay. So this is what we're what we think the estimated costs are going to be for this project. This is alternative one with the tartan surface. There is contingency in here because until we really move into the kind of final design and bidding this out, we don't know what else is going to come up if you have, some other parts of this that we need to add in or take out. This project can change cost a little bit. There are some existing lights there that we'll have to deal with too that's not in here that have electrical on them. If we're going to put new lights up, that would be an additional cost. If we're not, there may be some additional cost in removing the electrical service going currently to those lights. And this is the cost estimate for a painted surface. So basically the only difference between these two right now is what the surface looks like. They're all constructed the same way with a base and 2 layers of asphalt. The only difference really here is the surface. So, and with that, I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have on the design so far, or if there's any other ideas that you might have.
From what I had looked into, and I know Chris had discussed it with the last meeting, kind of the standard base is doing a 4-inch, and he had this upgraded to an 8-inch where it's at in that location and area. Is that necessary to go that deep on the aggregate base for the courts, or is it overkill?
It's really a matter of how long it's going to last and how nice that surface is going to remain. Because this is pickleball and tennis court where you're running on it and playing on it. If it was a driveway or a parking lot, it might not be that big of a deal because you're driving over it with a car and you're not going to notice small cracks. But something that you're running on and playing on and shifting direction on, you want that to remain as smooth of a surface for as long as you can. So I don't think it's really overkill.
Okay.
Could you get away with it? Yeah, but it's going to be a shorter period of time before you have to go in there and fix cracks.
That's what I was just curious on, is how necessary was the 8-inch, and I understand that.
Any other questions?
How many years of life between the two surfaces would you say?
The painted surface, you're probably going to want to replace every 4 to 6 years, somewhere in that range. Repaint it. You're not really replacing it. You're just repainting it. And really, when you repaint it, it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper in today's dollars. By then, it might be the same cost or more because there's not the degree of layout when you're repainting it. The first time, you have to measure everything very, very carefully to make sure you're getting everything in the
Paint's not the same on the tartan surface, though?
It is. But it lasts a little bit longer on the tartan.
Paint lasts longer?
Yeah.
Does the surface itself?
Yeah, the surface itself should last.
It's an actual cap over the asphalt.
Yeah, the tartan should last 20-ish years.
System
there.
Whereas painting's literally you're painting onto the asphalt.
So the tartan lasts 20 years. At 20 years, then, does it have to be like totally ripped up, or can it be repaired the same way that the other one can be repaired?
Yeah, you can repair tartan similar to how you repair asphalt, but with basically a rubberized sealer, much like you repair an asphalt surface. Mm-hmm. But it can start to delaminate, and if that happens, depending on the degree that happens, you may have to have areas that you replace.
What's the warranty on that?
I'm not sure what the warranty is. I can get that information for you, though.
Okay.
I guess the warranty would maybe dictate our decision.
How many local contractors install the tartan surface
Locally in like Bedford Township,
locally in Northwest Ohio?
Northwest Ohio, there's probably a handful, yeah.
And
Any other questions from the group here? No?
Could we approve the project and wait on the surface decision, or it's all in one here at this meeting upcoming?
you have to approve it to put it out.
Well, yeah. I think the next step would be us
Okay,
approving
so-
it, then getting it put out for bid, I believe.
So companies can
Prepare-
provide
you guys would
quotes
prepare bids
for
back.
both surfaces, so we don't have to decide on the surface right now.
But I think before you need to do that, you have to confirm with the township that they're going to give you the money.
They're going to approve it.
Because you can't go out and get contractors to jump through hoops and turn in bids and then go and say, oh, sorry, they won't give us our allowance. We can't spend it.
Yeah, from here it goes to the township board.
But either way, we're gonna, presuming all that comes back to us for a decision, we'll be looking at multiple quotes with both surfaces at a later date. Good. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't think so. Thank you. Appreciate
Yep,
it.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Public comment. You get 2 minutes. Anybody have any comments regarding the agenda items that we will be talking about?
I'd just like to ask him a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Greg Szymanski, I live on Erie Road. What's the benefit for the lighting? Is it just? Greg Szymanski, 1361 West Erie Road. The benefit for the lighting, is it just security, strictly security? I mean, you don't normally allow people after.
The lighting, it's just that there's lighting there now.
Yeah, but if it's going to cost.
Yeah, we can either
need
fix it or remove it.
Or put new lights up on it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wait.
Yep.
No, you're
Oh, no, you're good.
good. It's a good question. The lighting there hasn't been turned on and used in years, but there are posts there that's in place of the current proposed
I
construction.
bet we'd have people who want to play at night, though, if we let them. All the time.
They probably would, but that's not part of the parks.
That's not our decision.
All right, any other public comment? Yes.
Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. Couple things. With that pickleball court, I certainly hope the gates that you put on will prevent kids from going in there with their bikes. Secondly, you've got to remember it's a summer sport. The ball field's still going to be there, and parking will be an issue because that is the most used playground. So you need to consider that. And in all that, some of us were talking after the last meeting, given that you have elections coming up in November, we feel that you should do your skate and your bike study. Hold off on installation of your pickleball courts. You've got your study. Get yourself all set, situated as to how you want it and what you want to do. Look at your 5-year plan. And then sit down and come up with a plan to recreate, reinvent, redesign each of your parks for a purpose. What for? Who does it serve? Why? Create a specific complex that blend into your surroundings. Multi-purpose, but create a partnership. For example, tennis with pickleball. Pickleball with the residential neighborhood versus your bike parks, etc., being in the middle of the residence. We've seen what the skate park has done over there at Parmalee. That's a much quieter neighborhood. It would probably serve the people of the Parmalee area better if you was to remove your disc golf, combine it with the counties over at Vienna Park and make a deluxe disc golf setup. Take your tennis and your pickleball courts and place them at Parmalee. And now you've got a calm environment for the people that live there. There won't be spinning bikes and tires and whatever else with all the other issues you've had. And then use it or sell it, and then buy it.
It's 2 minutes.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on here. All right, fireworks, approval of dates by Bedford Public Schools and additional food trucks. How are we?
So all the updates I've got on it are officially Friday the 21st at dusk will be launch date, with Saturday 22nd as a rain date. I spoke with Dr. Schultz over at the school. We are cleared, good to go, to use the stadium in the original area. We will have to caution tape off and close off basically from the home side, the field surface and stands over due to not only the launch zone, the radius that needs to be protected, but also the field. We can't have chairs, food and drink or anything on the field. So I've already gotten a hold of the grounds crew there. They will help with that. They're going to get like the hurdle jumps and so forth, and just like we did over at Indian Creek to make the cordon zone, same type of thing. So food trucks, everything, Chaz, you can tell them it's going to be at high school location, and we'll have them park in between the junior high and high school, just like we did 2 years ago. That's everything I got on that. We don't have to worry about getting additional porta potties for the schools this time. He will also open the bathroom, the new bathrooms and everything at the stadium will all be opened and accessible.
Okay.
We approved those dates at the last meeting already, right?
Yep. It's just I have confirmed.
make
with
sure.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we didn't need to
School
do an
confirmed
approval.
we are
on
good
those.
to
Union,
use
that
that
was it.
center and not have to be over Indian Creek.
Okay. All right, moving on to trade fair. All right, so we had booths at the trade fair. We did a quick little survey, one-page thing that we had, let's see, 40-some participants, 33. 33 results, 25 from Bedford, 8 from outside of Bedford. One was a couple from Toledo, Ida, Oregon, Petersburg, that kind of thing. So one of them said, what parks do you visit most often? White was answered yes by 23, Carr was 6, Anstead was 4, Indian Creek was 4. That was on the survey map because we didn't get a map without that, so that was on there. Parmalee was 1, Samaria 1, and Wheeler was 1. So which amenities do you use at the parks? The walking, running trails, 24 respondents said that. That was in first place. Playscapes was 8, tied with the picnic area, which was also 8. 1 person for tennis, 4 for pickleball, 1 for disc golf, and 5 for the ball fields. Would you support a 0.49 millage for the parks that would potentially cost the owner of a $300,000 home approximately $73 per year for 10 years? So out of those respondents, I only counted the 25 that are actually residents of Bedford. They said yes, 21 said yes, and 4 did not respond. So I'm assuming the 4 that did not respond meant to say no and just didn't. So, we've got probably 3/4 then said yes and 1/4 said no, you could say. Then there's the optional write-in, what could be done to improve our parks. 4 people said dog park, and I did not push that. That was just them saying dog park. Skate park was 1, splash pad was 1, and 1 person said more for wildlife. So there you go. So those are the results of the quick and dirty little survey that we had, and I can pass these around if you're interested in seeing what kind of comments they made. If not, we can do it at another time because we got a lot going on. So, okay, all right, leave it here for now. All right, so that's the trade fair. Skate park, pump track, and courts posters were part of that. I've turned that in to you for that information. It's all in here if you want to look at that. We can put it on the next treasurer's report. We don't have to do it this time. So we're moving on to C, selection of possible skate park, pump track areas. We've all
Just continuing on from the last.
thought about this, so yeah, it's continuing on.
I didn't review with Chris, but I think he had commented on it too to me and back and forth. In debating, not doing these courts at Carr and potentially the zone and location at Carr is too small for even a single, doing one like just the pump track or just skate park and not even any ball. It's just not a large enough space and zone for this type of thing. So if that's removing Carr, I think the pickleball courts and tennis court and replacing the old junk ones at Carr fits just fine with that project. With that said, you're basically taking Carr out of the picture of the list we potentially had. Again, as I had said last time, we're looking to replace what we've already removed. The only plausible area at the moment without taking something out or looking at a much larger expense of developing farmland or anything that would be replacing this at Parmley Park. And we can look at downsizing the actual project itself, depending on how they lay it out with the feedback we've been getting and the lack of
I've got a
people
fun idea.
showing a need to it, is going smaller on the skate park and going larger on the pump track.
I've got a fun idea. Why don't we use space that is currently unusable for any other purpose? Why don't we decrease the cost involved by not using concrete and using natural surfaces? You won't be able to run a skateboard on it, but you could still do a pump track
That's
in the southwest corner of White, back there in the trees. It's a low-lying land, so you'd have to bring in dirt anyway because it's kind of swampy. You can't put anything back there. You could keep all the trees and make it a natural dirt mounds. And if you have ever been to any of the pump tracks that Toledo Metro Parks have put in, they've got some pretty awesome ones with railroad ties that you go over and all sorts of jumps and hoops and things like that. It would be a fraction of the cost of what you're talking. It would be in a space where we can't do anything else with it. It's just wasted space right now. We could use natural building items as a park rather than just pouring big slabs of concrete everywhere. And we don't lose anything. We don't lose any of the ball diamonds that we currently have. We don't lose any of the space that we currently have. I don't see a downside to it other than the 7 kids who, I'm sorry?
Maintenance.
As
You're
far
gonna
as
have
what?
to, because they're gonna wear that down.
Have you
Kids are gonna
have
wear
you ever
that
been to
down.
one?
You know, I've seen one at one of the parks. But
Yeah, they kind of wear down naturally, and then every time it rains, it kind of resets them. Or some of the areas where it's actually mounded up, it's supposed to be like that. So it's a more natural item.
don't they have to keep mounting up is what I'm saying?
No.
Because after so many bikes go over it, doesn't it wear
Rain would
down?
erode it down and whatnot, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Over time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So every couple of years you go back there, sure.
Okay, that's what I
So
wondered.
you would
How
have to
often?
do, but you're talking
2-3 years.
Yeah.
a tenth of the price of
Oh, yeah,
this.
easily.
ESA sent us a list of all the Michigan projects, 4 of which, I think it was a list of about 20, 25 total projects, 4 of which were on there where they did the part of this initial step and they never got approved to be on that. And then about 16 to 20 of them that were approved and went through. Most of them where I was getting at decreasing the size of the skate park load and the concrete and what's the expensive part and focusing more on pump track only would open up more potential areas, including that one was on my list.
Of those,
They showed, I think there were 3 or 4 in Michigan, Detroit region alone that were strictly pump track, similar to the design you said where they're kind of through woods, there's still trees, everything. Most of those fell at about 220 to I think 290,000 as a project total.
yeah, and of those projects that they supplied us, the 20 some that they've quoted, not even completed, but they've quoted within the area, we would be, if not the highest project that they've done, the
you're
highest cost
looking at
project that
the-
they've done, we'd be number 2.
If you're looking at the concrete, the full skate park, exactly.
So, I mean, the skateboarders miss out, but you're supplying something, not to mention the fact that it's a stone trail to get back there. So you couldn't, even if you put stone, or even if you put concrete back there, you couldn't get to it without carrying your board anyway. But you could use your bike and bike back there.
And you can still do an asphalt paved to where it holds in play. You would just be building
Yeah.
mounds up. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all part of their
Yes,
construction
and
process.
do it
But
around
yeah,
the
that's-
trees so you're not disturbing
That's what I
the
was
nature.
getting at with picking sites like we may need to consider not doing as large of a skate park and concrete version
I could get behind that.
into an area other than Parmley if we know Parmley is just off the map. I know something that's come up too that I just want to out to the public is there was an instant wave of everybody mad that all of a sudden this place that we picked is now there's more cost to them, there's hidden costs, there's hidden factors. If we choose Parmley as a site location, we need to find in our records or with our whatever department may have it, a utilities map and a topography map, which we now have updated with Carr, with Manick and Smith doing these pickleball courts. We can't find one for Parmley. They do require that in order to do a construction process. It's going to cost a bit more to have that map, a utilities layout map made. And so there is more cost. It's not them just magically charging us more. We can go and have Manick and Smith go and do that for us. We can have another company do it. It doesn't have to be them. They will provide that service. They will let us know how much more it costs if that's what we want them to do. But that's where that additional, all of a sudden, oh, they're charging more, and I've heard some backlash on, oh, all of a sudden there's more, this is costing more than we had expected and more than the initial, like, that's what that cost is. These
Yeah, I think
are
we-
required in the construction.
It's not that the problem. The
assume-
problem is procedural. Like, so we had $16,000 approved. If it costs more than $1,500 to get anything else done, we're going to have to bring that back to the board again and
Yep.
get approval for it.
Well, if we look at downsizing our project scope from an $800,000
Yeah.
project to
Yeah, yeah.
$300,000,
Oh,
the
definitely.
total isn't
It
going to
should be
16,000. It's 2% of total.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got that $16,000 number.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Keep in mind, if you split the project, if you do a skate park somewhere else, smaller, whatever,
or we
know.
focus one step at a time
or we focus,
Right.
once it's going to cost more.
each time.
Well, we need to move forward with this and figure out what we want to do. So let's, as a board, decide.
Well, I think
What
Chris had
direction
something
we wanna
say.
go.
Did you want to go ahead? Give
No,
your
no. I
opinion
just,
or no?
yeah. We just need to figure out where we want it because we don't want to go spending the $5,000 per location.
No.
I would like
Or
to make a
multiple
motion
locations.
then to have them look at putting a dirt bike track, a dirt pump track in the back of White Park, behind Field 6.
Well, they can figure out surface. I mean, you could still do an asphalt pump track back because it's still dirt.
Yeah, I get that, but I'd rather have more natural. Putting it back there in the trees,
I'd like to hear their opinion on longevity of either or and if it's worthwhile and cost. I mean, they'll do that build up. That's their part is that's what they do is design these.
yeah, for sure.
Mainly
sure.
that
So there
location
may
you're
be
looking
some-
at how can we fit a
It's
pump
just
track in.
locations, the big
Yes,
thing.
I don't want to take any trees down. I
Right.
want to keep it natural. I don't want to have big concrete eyesores that people are going to graffiti. I want to have natural swells and sways.
And that was the biggest concern from the board of doing Parmalee is it's going to be
Yeah.
tagged and it's going to be the destruction and the everything back there. If we're looking at, we could still have them look at Parmalee if we're doing a dirt and asphalt pump track.
Yeah,
It's within that zone.
It does. That kind of seems like space that we could utilize for other things.
Sorry, but if you're worried about graffiti and
yeah,
vandalism, there's a new Dollar General at Lewis and Smith in the heart of a massive public location that is already tagged and graffitied on the back.
So-
It's going to happen anywhere. That doesn't matter where we.
I would like to propose that we ask them to write up a plan for a natural pump track in the southwest corner of White.
If we're looking at solely pump track and downsizing this, do we want to do Parmalee and White and those two spots? And
What do you want to do at Parmalee?
Same thing, like a pump track, asphalt pump track and
They
lay
will
out.
do up to
I would
three.
do one first and see. Have them
Just
price
test-
out so
yeah,
we can
price
compare.
out, right?
Yeah.
So can I just,
Our big concern with White was parking.
Yes.
Adding another thing
have to
to
have
White
parking.
without removing
Yeah.
something,
Yeah. No.
how packed it is with tournaments and everything.
What, Aaron?
I need to write down specifics. So we have paid essentially for 3 locations to be
Up to 3 are
up to 3. So in this, so right now, we need to say the 3 places
Right.
that we are going to select, and then what, one of you is going to take that to the American Ramp Company? I guess you
We-
are, or Carol is.
Well, it's probably
Theoretically-
got to go back to the township board.
Since we've changed,
It doesn't have to go back to township.
well, the township board isn't going to like that we're not
approved.
doing what they want.
They're going to say.
Yeah, going back to Township Board seems like that's
Well, the location, the what's going to have to go back to the township board is if we have to pay for any other extra stuff over $1,500, such
Okay, so-
really it'd be splitting invoices. Anything pretty much has to go back to them.
So in an effort to keep it under their $16,000, why don't we give them 2 locations that we want them to draw up? We want them to draw up the southwest
Simply
corner
just-
of White Park and Parmalee
Parmalee.
Park for,
Strictly asphalt pump track style.
yeah,
Or dirt.
natural,
Natural.
Pump track style, not a
Yes.
full concrete
Yes,
basin
not concrete.
layout
yeah.
skate park, which is the more
Yeah,
expensive.
if you haven't been to the one out in Swanton,
I have.
it's awesome. It is so cool.
So is Sylvania's.
Yeah, I haven't been to theirs.
So White and Parmalee, you're thinking?
I
So,
would think those are all really, unless you want to redevelop an Anstead farmland, which is going to require.
and then if their
that's a
price goes
massive
up,
over
if their price goes
long
up,
years.
making it those, under those constrictions, we still have money in the budget that we've already approved that we can adjust we can fluff their budget if we need to. And then, if we got to go back for more, we go back for more. But I think
Remember
those are
the-
the 2 mostly likely spots.
And remember, the point of doing this too is not that we're looking to build it this summer. It's
No, it's just,
to have the right plans in place for this project, for funding, for figuring out how to go, if a millage is the accurate way to go about, if overtime of budgeting for this and building a side pot to be able to do this. We're doing the right steps and process to it. It doesn't necessarily location-wise have to factor into this board and this board only when November's a new election.
Todd, you've
It's
been,
something that will be in place for a new board to present.
Yeah.
They have the plans and everything already in place.
Todd, you've been kissing babies on this a lot. Have you, what do you think about this?
No, I think it's fine the way you guys are doing this, because you already know if you're going to send this to Parmalee, it's not going to get approved.
Right.
But the only problem with White Part is the parking. So that's going to be
It's all the feedback
Yeah,
we
but-
got
an issue there.
to that board that day.
But if it's bike, you're not going to have as much feedback.
No, you
Or you're
won't.
not going to have as much parking.
Yeah, there won't
You're
be
not
as
going to have
much
as many
if
people
it's
coming
just-
from
yeah,
out
if
of the
it's just
township.
bike.
Park where the tennis and pickleball people park in that front.
No, you
No,
would
they'd
use
park,
the,
they'd park off
I
Concierge.
think
Road
they'd use
lot.
it's
It's a lot closer off Concierge.
Yeah, it's a right to it.
It's a lot
I
closer.
think the
So do we need to make a motion on this, or?
Well-
It'd just be in that location in the back there. It would go stretch all over the whole park.
Yeah, make a full true.
Okay.
I'd like to. I mean, if we've got 3 locations, we're holding our third location.
Yes.
Well, it's
We're holding it in reserve in case we need that money, because there isn't a clear third spot.
Well, I think
We're not going to take out a baseball at White. We're not going to take out a.
as Gail has often said in meetings, between the library, the pocket park in between the library and the middle school, where the gazebo is.
It's not,
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's
Just a
ours and that's a
track.
pocket
I
pocket park,
or just a concrete.
I think that would
park
be.
pad. You're involving
look at the middle school
schools.
there. I mean, just,
Well, then we have to get the schools on board.
yeah, no, I mean, maybe
Yeah,
the school
that would be a
split it with
lot
us.
of-
I don't know. I mean,
A lot of back
already
to
very
Indian
expensive.
Creek where, hey, you want our money for the land they own.
I
for
make a
things
motion
they control
to
for-
send them those 2 locations.
I agree. I'll
Is there a
second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
sure.
Aye.
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 Let's start with those 2. No.
So, all right, hold on. But
Whoever's-
they still need the maps and the utilities and all of that for those locations.
Let's
Whoever's communicating that with
Yep.
them, I would
I'll
like
communicate
to
with
be
them because they
involved.
may not need the utilities map if they're not digging and if it's strictly, like if they're not pouring and laying the pads for the concrete, making the bowls and everything they're going to. They're laying.
They're not digging anything.
Oh, they're not digging away.
They may not. So we'll follow up with them, see what that is, and if so be it, then it'll be on the next meeting to
Okay.
either they approve them to do it or find another company to do it. Like
Who's been the
Mannequin Smith
liaison
just
to
did.
this company?
Carol and I have met with him, met with
Okay.
Asa, talked with Asa. It's kind of us two have been doing
Okay,
it. Like
let me know. I'd like to get involved. Just, we'll take him some pictures of Toledo Metro Parks. I'm sure he has ideas and he has stuff like that.
they do. Yeah.
I'm picturing dirt
don't have
pump
his card
tracks
with me.
and swells and jumps and stuff like that for bikes.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's part of this design. Now that we have a spot for them, they can start giving us these ideas and layout, and we can make adjustments to whatever they lay out. We can. That's part of. This
Thank
step
you. I
one.
like that.
Okay, all right, moving on. Approval of court design at Cars Grove.
With that said, and knowing we're not fitting this in at Carr, at least on my end, I have no problem with Mannequin Smith's design. That was the whole reason for holding off last time, was just potentially.
Did you want the tennis court too?
I think we could get rid of it. I really don't think we need it and save on cost. What's the cost on redesign?
What's the ballpark cost difference if we
Cut it off and take the
eliminate
tennis court
tennis
out.
court?
Would there then be no tennis court at R? Or there would
There's
be?
a whole high school full of tennis courts and 2 tennis courts at White Park that are not utilized whatsoever.
I've seen people play tennis there every once in a while. Every once in a while.
There's nicer courts at the high
I've
school.
heard feedback
It
about.
just depends
the-
on what it saves us.
The problem with the courts at White Parks, they've got a lot of cracks in them. And
They do.
a lot of,
That's why you said
Sections
the
in
high
the-
school,
in the-
high school 12 courts are beautiful.
60,000, something like that. Just,
About 20%.
just in the asphalt, yeah. Asphalt.
You
and
save
some
20%. And well,
That's just in the
for the
asphalt.
asphalt.
Think of the
So
fencing.
you're also gonna.
So the fence-
Oh, that includes.
Yeah, some of the
You
fence.
cut the fence shorter.
so since we've been planning this, we tore down the skate park. And that fencing, I believe, is the same height as what's at Carr Park. And is in pretty good shape and could be moved to expand. So,
Yeah,
Get new
Yeah.
with a new
No, I mean,
court, new everything.
that's not worth
oh,
it.
I want to get new too. I'm just saying in the court, it's 45,000.
So just,
Use that fencing. Let's make, because we have pads there, make new courts, additional courts at Parmalee then if we're not going to use that space. It could be a long-term outlook of it.
That's another park that struggles with parking.
I don't, I don't know, there's not a bad idea. At some point, do we have any intention of expanding? Car Park is probably the most highly used playscape that we have.
White Park.
Because
White
it's the
Park's
newest.
Even busier though.
Because it's the newest.
Right.
Do we have any intention in the future of expanding the playscape at Car? Because if we did,
Because the parking lots and what the land we have there won't allow for it.
well, it would if you eliminated the tennis courts and expanded that way with it, and redid the parking lot because the tennis
Back to
courts,
the baseball court.
and you get
the
more
baseball
room,
diamond.
and you can more utilize that space. And then I don't put in the pickleball courts. Mr. Mannequin Smith, what happens to your budget if we don't have any demo involved? If we just give you a flat piece of land?
They're broken out in the line items, Chaz.
I know,
This was
but
already
I don't have it in
what
front
our
of me. That's why I'm asking him. Just ballpark.
Yeah, it's that's probably another 30,000 or so in the removal of the asphalt.
So roughly 10%-ish.
Yeah.
About 10%.
Okay, so you're gonna save 10% if we put the pickleball courts at Parmalee, where now you'll have nothing there. You have a tremendous amount of parking. You would not have to worry about any sort of graffiti or any sort of problem. It's a nice quiet location.
True, but we just approved American Ramp to come do a design for that spot.
That doesn't mean they're going there. It
I
just
know.
means, you know what I mean?
Well, do we want to hold off on putting these courts in?
That's kind of where I'm at. I think we're jumping all over the place. I think we need to focus on one thing and do one thing first. You guys talked to the pickleballers and told them they could have their pickleball court. So if you want to focus on there first, we can focus on there first.
We agreed to have Mannequin
big
Smith
thing is
design a
it's-
new layout, and that's
Yeah.
where we're at.
Yeah, yeah.
We can do both because.
I think we can if we downsize
Start it.
to the pump track size.
That's it. We're not going to be on the board that well, some of you might be on the board that finalizes this, but we can get it started, so we've got it ready. Sorry.
So
anyway, I think that, yes, we can do them both at the same time, but the next board is going to make the final decisions on a lot of this.
So do we want to approve at Car Park, or does anybody think it makes sense
like
to
it at
put it at
Car.
Parmalee
I think it makes the
and
most
save
sense.
save the space at Car?
I think we should put it at Car because that's
I
the
think we should
most
put it at
used
Car.
park, the highly, yeah,
You're
It's
looking at a full
central.
redesign if we
Central.
move it.
yeah.
I think
Redesign for what?
The layout now, they're going to have to do
For
land.
those? For the courts?
Yeah,
Well, you can't. The ground's not the
that's
same.
not how
everything.
engineering and
Yeah.
having it done works.
It's yeah, sure. You're going to save.
Unfortunately, it's not. I'm telling you that the Mannequin Smith is going to bill us if we tell them, hey, go do this over at Parmalee. They're going to draw all this up
Smith
for
is
a
gonna
specific
bill us
location.
for everything, yeah.
Well,
We've paid them $10,000 for
done.
4 pages,
haven't paid 'em
including a
$10,000
title
yet.
page, so.
And if you follow off,
Any engineering firm, you'd have to pay.
yeah,
It doesn't
it's not
matter.
just that. I'm not
No.
blaming them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
No.
saying I'm just saying if it's,
So we'd approve having this sent out for
Nothing's
bid, is the plan, right? Just,
that would be the next step is approving this, and
I
they'll,
motion to have these Mannequin Smith court design at Cars Grove sent out for bid.
A second.
All right.
Well, no, for Mannequin Smith to.
However, it
No,
goes to bid.
our job is just to make a decision to send it to the township board. The township
Right.
board, at the end of the day, while we did have a lot of discussion about money and what things cost, at the end of the day,
it's
that's
going
their
to
decision.
They would, okay.
approve this project
So,
for them to go
We're
out.
sending this to the township board to make a decision on Mannequin Smith to move forward.
Okay, motion's on the table.
Well, I don't know if I can go to the township hall meeting. That's, of
So-
course, they're not going to do it unless one of us goes.
I'll go.
I'll go.
I'll be there.
One of us will be there. We'll
Fair enough. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how my Tuesdays look. But, okay, I'm still motioning then to send it to the township board.
Okay.
This location. and
This
layout.
location to then have them get bids.
You did a second?
Chris, are you still
Chris was
seconding
Yes,
this?
I second.
Okay, all right. So all in favor?
For them
Aye.
to also, hold on, for them, I second with an amendment of, for them to make a decision on whether they want to go with alternative 1 or alternative 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is the coding.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Don't we get bids?
I'm
I
just
thought we
wondering
got
what the
bids for
point of
both.
us is if they make all the decisions.
No, I thought when we send it out for bid that companies will bid both, theoretically.
No,
They're not going to bid both.
no.
You're
Because
not
they're
gonna-
two different
yeah.
companies.
Yeah, you're going to set up bid specs for one or the other.
One of them does,
Initially.
one of them does asphalt and one of them does,
Is that true, you think? I mean, are there companies that could provide quotes? Like when you send it out for bid, can you just get, or I guess when Township theoretically sends it out for bid, can they
You
get?
could have basically the same prime, and if you have another surface, they would get a subcontractor to do the surface. So you could do both alternatives in one bid.
Were you envisioning that?
Yeah, that's what
come in
I
for
would
both?
I would say. Then you could actually get a good price, and then
More accurate.
and then and then make the decision once you actually have the contractor pricing.
So yeah, we don't have to make that decision. At the moment.
Township doesn't have to make a decision either.
Okay, motion's still on the table.
All right, so all in favor? Aye.
Money, one by one.
Money, but we're not spending money. The township
No.
has to.
Yeah. You don't spend money, yeah.
The
Aye.
township has to do it first, so I
Yes.
think just, yeah, yay or nay?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Aaron?
Oh, yes.
All right, motion passed. All right, approval to place playground mulch order. And who are we approving it with?
All right, so the 3 bids we got were Sandman,
That was the other one.
which was, I don't have that number in front of me. They were roughly coming to, I think it was 29 or 30 a yard with delivery. Anybody remembers the email?
I did not see that part.
It was the highest of the 3.
Okay.
Mulch King came back, it would be 25 per yard for the playground mulch plus 250 per yard for delivery. So 2750, Mazarance with delivery, no matter how many yards we get, 24 per cubic.
But it has to be an 80.
In
80 yard
increments, but which is fine because we were aiming around 600 yards for the playscapes and everything combined. I motion to use Mazarance, and let's from there pick a date to, which would be in the next line item. So yeah, I motion to use Mazarance for our playground mulch this spring.
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Next line item is
Volunteer Day.
picking a day to potentially do this, speaking with, obviously we're doing Samaria, Carr, White. Are we doing any at Parmalee in that area, in that playscape?
Aaron, have
Either way, teams, 3B, getting Black Ops that's at Carr, getting the teams at Samaria, talking with them, seeing about getting involved on a single day of when we're going to have it all delivered, and instead of maintenance having to go and spread this over a matter of 3 months like they took last time, for just getting at Samaria to helping out and doing like a volunteer day like we did 2 years ago and seeing about a mass spread mulch day.
So you're thinking April, May?
We did it April last year, or 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, I think we did it. It was April.
It was like April 21st or whatever that Saturday was.
I think White and Carr only.
We don't need any mulch at Samaria.
I mean, I guess I haven't seen Samaria at all, but I mean, White and Carr are the ones.
Parmalee
that are
needs it.
trapped.
There's a safety line on your
needs it too.
playscapes, and they're exposed at pretty much every park.
We were looking at roughly about 600 yards total. 2 years ago, we did 400, and that wasn't
The total cost?
Volunteers definitely, we couldn't get them to Parmalee, I guess. It didn't.
If we do 600,
It'll be 560. After talking with Pat, I talked with Pat today, and we were talking 160 at White,
but yeah, it's an
160 at Carr because
Okay,
it could be
what do we
dispersed to other parks.
What are we-
80 at Samaria,
Just trying to-
80 at Parmalee, and then what's
It
left
doesn't matter.
over
We're
they can
trying to
move
pick a
out.
date. Let's pick
So-
a date.
Saturday the 20th, Saturday the 13th, or the 27th, those are your,
We don't have to lock this in, just something we can go and give the teams, because then we'll work with Mazarance on, hey, can we have
Saturday
it?
in April.
okay, Saturday in April, leave it at that for now, yep.
Okay, moving on.
Talk to your teams at your park.
All right. Date for full seasonal replacement of porta-johns at parks and the number of porta-johns that will be at each park.
So pretty much going through and picking park to park because this has just been back and forth with one person going and telling them one thing or how many times a year. We need to just have it all laid out so we know the information.
So
What's our summer peak amount? How many porta potties are at each location? How often are they cleaning up? Like, what's the deal on
that
it?
do.
on it?
I had it laid out, and then Chris got involved and took it over. So, whatever you decide, I'd like 8 porta johns at White Park.
What was the total for the summer usage, normal usage?
You, as the treasurer, should have that. It's $1,330. And the winter usage is $715.
And is that once a week cleaning?
Once a week.
That's once a week.
White was twice a week in the summer.
So
And then
we
picking
have
how many
enough in
in
our
each.
budget
Yes.
to get us through just shy of 2 months at that rate.
Great, do them.
Don't care.
Yeah, the township will provide more money for these. I'm not worried about that.
Yep, we gotta do
So do
it.
we need to make a motion to bring them
Something we
back
have to provide to the
ASAP?
public.
It's going to be 60 degrees the next 2 days.
And that's why I want to get them out now. Like unfortunately, spring has hit a lot earlier. We didn't have the
bring them
winter we
out now.
normally do.
Right.
That's where our estimated budget for Porta-Johns was wrong.
Okay. Yep. Do we need to make a motion to bring them
Park
out?
has
Or
8.
can we just say bring them out?
How many?
Well,
are
how
there?
many at each
Guys,
car?
our estimated budget was not wrong. I already moved $3,000 from our maintenance budget to it once.
I still don't care.
Make up for it.
All right, so we've got one at Anstead, we've got one at Wheeler, and they're both like
all we need.
handicap accessible. What have we got at
80
Carr?
ones. That was my other question: is are they putting them back at Carr? Or
They will not put
refusing?
Porta Johns at Carr until something gets figured out
We
with.
won't have
where's
any at
analyzing
Carr.
them.
Don't have any at Carr. Parmalee,
Parmalee had
is there one or
two.
two?
Had an ADA and a regular. Samaria had an ADA and a regular.
Okay,
And then we had 8 at White.
White had
2 or 3 ADAs.
White apparently only has 5. It had 1 ADA and 5 regular, which I don't think is right.
It's not, because we had an ADA over by the tennis and pickleball.
I may
We
be
had
looking
one
at
by
an
the
old
concession
invoice.
then at that gated spot, and a regular with each
Yeah.
of those.
Oh no, that's the garbage.
We had another regular by the playscape. We had another regular over by the
back parking lot.
concierge back parking lot for the walking trail and that pack zone.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 8.
It was 8.
Okay.
Did you say you were looking for an annual date for this to be every year, or this is just a right now thing?
It was.
You got to play it year by year.
think it was
It's
April
still
1st.
snowing right now.
No, we used to do it April 1st.
I was going to motion for the daylight savings time to just be the date.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, second.
It's just going to be. I mean,
Yeah, great, fine.
Make it easy.
I mean, for right now, they just need to get them out there. We don't need.
I motion for annual
Unfortunately,
restoration of
Todd, can you ask your board
seasonal
what's,
replacement
no,
to be the Monday after. Yeah.
unfortunately,
So,
either Stevens.
a
nor
little
us
over a
have
month,
organized it.
about less than 2 months in, we're going to have $0 in that line item. And there's really not going to be anywhere else to pull it from after buying mulch. Are they just going to keep paying it and put our account in the negative and just reimburse it, or are we going to have to come ask for more money?
Asking if I got to show up for more money for Porta Johns for the
Okay.
public at the parks, I'll show up. That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm motioning that the Monday after daylight savings spring date is the
Starting.
annual
I second.
full replacement of Porta Johns unless the
$5,000.
future board determines otherwise.
Second.
Good.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
with the note on there that we're talking 14, right? Total, back 14, between all the
Well,
parks.
14 without car. We would like
Right,
to know.
without Carr,
And
at this point.
It's usually 3 more at car then. There's 1 on each lot plus an ADA one.
So 14 right
But
now,
they're
plus
not-
possible 3.
When you do this, ask them to put them back there. Maybe they'll forget.
No, they're not going to forget.
Okay, so a motion was approved. Now we come down to the CIP rankings for planning department. Pain in the butt.
Do we have to do this now?
Yes, we have to do this now because it should have been done Friday.
Okay. Oh, I don't care.
So we got to figure it out. And if we don't give them something, they will probably give us nothing. Which they gave us last year, which we have to decide, $25,150. Where do we want to allocate it? Do we want to put it in one of these spots, like a roof, or do we want to put it in one of the playscapes?
Well, you got to think 6 years out because it ain't getting touched for
Right,
6 years.
right.
So
I think
I would spread it
the only
evenly.
other roof left is Samaria's rental hall, and I think within 6 years it gets replaced, so don't put it there.
yeah.
Our was just done, and the concession that White Park we had donated 3
Right.
years ago and done.
Well, they just put. Hold on. It looks like they just put Samaria Community Center without saying roof. So I mean it.
Everything's done there, though.
Yeah.
Samaria Community Park is like the, what is it, 6 one down, 1, 2, at the top, not the yellow.
Samaria.
It's in
Yeah,
the
I don't-
top.
You're right, it is.
Yeah, it's there.
I mean, guys, it could go anywhere. It really could.
could.
I mean, the parks are so far behind, and they're just.
Bathrooms at White or Car? put it all in there. That was my thing. Everything else was an A or a D. The only E, I thought.
Like bathrooms at White.
Bathrooms at White or bathrooms at Carr.
Make a motion to put the $25,150 allocated in the fiscal year of 24 for the CIP in the line item of White Park restrooms.
You split it?
It's never going to get used there. 25 grand isn't.
And somebody can move it in the future.
25 grand isn't even enough to do the plumbing. So I don't know why you
That's a
would
start.
bother putting it there.
What about the pavilions? How much is it going to cost?
The
to
CIP
use
does not have to
Yeah,
fund an
pavilion.
entire project.
What about the
guys.
car pavilion that 4 years ago the
Never got
posts were deemed as unsafe by the building inspector that we haven't done anything with?
We can do it for one of the pavilions.
This is
what do
locking
they
out
say
6 years. That needs done within 6 years.
Yeah, but they can pull it out. I mean, if they need to and things need to get adjusted, they can adjust it and pull it out.
Can they? Because everything we were
it to pay
presented with is it
porta-johns?
locks it for 6 years. That's why this is just put it in a general maintenance for park-related item. Pick one, doesn't matter. If they can move it, and that's true, then they can move it.
Chris did learn that they invest the money, so that's good to know that they actually can put it in.
That's why we can't get it for 6 years. because
Which
of
I mean,
this.
at least that's something to hedge against inflation. So it makes me.
Oh, we can do a pavilion. I don't know.
Chris, motion for the white restrooms.
White restrooms. All right, so we got a
Motion
motion
is
on the
out.
table. Do we have a second?
Can we add Carr to it? Then I split it between the two. It should be on. Maybe it's not close enough.
It's not going to make an amendment to it.
Okay, amendment. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
I want to make an amendment to Chris's motion to make it to split the money that's there 50-50 between Carr Park restrooms and White Park restrooms.
Okay, all right. Motion's on the table. Jazz?
No.
Chris?
Yes.
Carol, yes.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Put it in the restrooms.
12,550.
Okay. All right, so going with the top half, since we have to rank the top ones, and this is just me talking, I says put all the playscapes as E because they all need to be replaced. They're over 20 years old, and so to me that's a definite one that we have to work on. I also said Carr Park tennis courts replaced, make that an E, and also White Park tennis courts repair, make that an E. So you guys can talk about it. We can decide how we want to do it. If you don't like that, if you want
Motion
do
to
something
accept
different.
whatever Carol scribbles
Great.
down.
Sounds good.
That's
There's
as
a
far.
second.
Unfortunately, that's as far as I got. So, okay.
Aye.
All right. Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4,
They look good.
5, and 6. Okay, so that's that. Now we've got car park, repaved parking. Okay, one of the guys from the planning department came to me while we were at the trade fair, and he said you should, anything for maintenance like the repair, paving, repaving, all that stuff should not be on here, is in his opinion.
That's what they have about the CIP are a lot of opinions, and there have not been a lot of decisions made
Yeah.
on it.
So I think we should keep it on here until they tell us under a certain amount, then we don't put it on here. So do we want to put that as, and I don't have that piece of paper in front of me that tells you that this one, hang on a sec. Do we want to make it desirable or acceptable? Desirable is high priority.
Full blown.
The asphalt parking lot that we
Asphalt
see,
parking.
just the part that's there, that's already all that's
Right, not a new
all
one.
cracked up.
Yeah.
Oh. Where?
At Car Park and Samari Park.
No,
Well, the
she said
cars-
white.
White Park.
That's why I said what?
said car.
paving?
No, it's car.
Did you say?
Oh,
No, it's
she
car.
said white.
Second one down here, it's car.
Can we verify? That's why I'm like, where is it?
Replay.
Car repaved parking, it says, $20,000 from 2024
It's
to
desirable. It's not
2020.
needed. We just
Whatever you want.
resealed it.
Okay,
In the middle of the road one.
so desirable. Thank you, that's what I want to know.
Next.
Let's get this
We just
done.
resealed it a year
Whatever
ago.
you, I thought we already voted to accept whatever you think, Carol.
Well, I need some help in what I
Well,
think.
that can be acceptable. It was
Bring it
just
down
finished
here, I'll
this
do it
week.
for you.
Right, and
Hey.
it's good for another 20 years, so.
Good to go.
Okay.
Roof just got done this week.
So the pavilion roof, car park pavilion roof, just the roof, not the pavilion
Doesn't-
itself. It says
Desirable.
$20,000.
D,
D for that one, okay, great.
Cross off roof and put.
building.
Well, we
Just
have
leave
the
it as
building
built.
down here.
There's another line
There's
item for
another
the
line
structure
item,
itself.
Yep. Okay, so then moving to Samaria Park Community Center roof.
D, it's not needed yet, but it's within a 5-year window
Desirable,
for
got it.
roof replacement.
Repave parking at Samaria, same
We
thing.
just resealed it. It's an A or a D.
Why are
whatever
we
we
wasting
put
our
the other
time on this?
I know.
Seriously.
White Park paved walking trail.
Wanted. We'd already tried for that.
A.
Let's keep applying for the grant going. Great.
We got to do it. It's not that we don't have time. We got to do it. Okay.
Chaz, you just leave them, man.
Parmalee Park Pavilion.
Your attitude.
Thank you. I got Parmalee Park Pavilion. I don't know how many years. I'm guessing it could last forever, but let's say, 25, and then the Parmalee Park Pavilion.
Parmalee Park Pavilion.
Yes, and the Parmalee
Eventually
Park
it's gonna need-
restrooms.
It's eventually going to need
which
new
is-
roof. It's eventually going to need post stuff done to it. Potentially just torn down.
Well, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, put it in the third category.
If that's what you're thinking, yeah, we can put it.
So, well, I mean, it's still attached to a set of bathrooms that weren't removed. They were just blocked shut. So, I mean, it's,
So what are we talking total cost to
Does anybody
replace
use it? We
that?
don't rent it out.
We can't. It's blocked off. I mean, the picnic area they do.
The pavilion, we
The
rent that,
pavilion
don't
they
we?
do.
no?
They rent the pavilion.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
It can be for like 20.
There's 2 people last year that used
I will
it.
bet you $1,000 that we do not rent the pavilion out.
Well, somebody asked to use it.
They can ask to use it, but we don't rent it out.
We never
It's
put
not
that
in our
on.
rental system.
We didn't put it on with the others when we
God,
did
it
that.
should have been.
Nope. Nope. Never has been.
Interesting. I would swore it was on there.
Our
right.
motion to add car park or Parmalee
Parmalee
Parks
Park.
Pavilion into the rental program.
Second.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
add that to it.
Why was it not?
Aye, and aye. All right, so we don't want to put any type of monetary value on those 2 because we're not sure what we're going to do with them. Let's leave those 2 blank. Our park pavilion. Now we're down to the car park.
Probably talking $30K for a full replacement. Move on,
Right.
next line item.
That's what I want to know, 30,000, and we wanted A?
Wasn't it somewhere around there?
It was like 17,000 to do all the posts and that. I mean, 40K if you're doing the roof and all that too. Like, it's probably cheaper down the post portion of it if you're actually just putting something new up.
And we did come up with a solution.
We did.
Whole car park
Well,
community
we had hired,
center.
I think, 2 different companies to fix that.
Replace
and
the
both
whole
of them
thing.
ended up
You
backing
have
out.
to replace that building.
It's probably a $300,000 project.
Okay,
Oh, it's.
more than that?
What?
More.
What one?
Car park
Replacing Car Parks
community center.
Oh, I mean,
It was 200,000 just to put bathrooms on it. Just to
Yeah.
add bathrooms.
Yeah.
on the
well, it's
backside.
$3 million to build a maintenance garage behind.
Yeah, we know
Oh,
that.
I mean,
Here.
that's,
Wow.
Yeah.
so,
I mean, hopefully we'll never have to replace it.
well, you're never going to have to replace it. That's more of so for that building, it's not like you got to replace the building. How much money do you want to put at it for large maintenance items in the future, potentially?
Be flooring it.
But then the way they talked at their meeting that I attended was, well, maybe maintenance items shouldn't be in here. So they haven't made decisions and based on, the planning commission themselves, the board, has not made full decisions on what they actually want.
So what? Yeah, we don't need to spend our time line iteming these.
Nope.
They can do it.
What about the car park garage?
Didn't think that was ours.
That's maintenances.
Level 3A.
Yep, level 3A.
All right. White Park restrooms.
Top of the line.
Level 1E.
There you go. You got the level sheet in front of you?
No, I didn't.
All right, how
Oh, you did
mine.
seen it though.
much for that?
A lot.
Well, 50% of whatever's in there is what we motioned for now, so keep it
It
with.
was $250,000 to expand it.
To expand it and put actual full men's and women's restrooms.
And to bring it up to ADA, which it is not.
Right. It's not, okay. So we'll say $250,000 and go from there. Okay, White Park pavilions, there's 2 to replace both of them.
Probably
100,000? More than
same
that?
as
White
car.
Park Pavilion?
Yeah.
What do we put for car?
Well, no, those pavilions are a lot smaller.
We have
and
40,000.
constructed
So
much
30
differently,
each.
but they're probably
30 each.
to
and
build
so
those
forth.
now, probably 15 to 20, somewhere in there. So say 20 each,
20, say
Another 40.
Okay.
and that's even a stretch.
Samaria Park Community Center.
Same as what you just did for car.
Oh, good. Samari Park Pavilion.
$20K. It's the size of the ones at White Park.
And we want that A, probably, or do we want that? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, now I've also got 1540 West Samaria Pavilion. Chris? 2 pavilions. It says Samaria Park Pavilion and 1540 West Samaria Pavilion. Is that the gazebo?
Probably. That's probably, one of them is probably the gazebo that should be just torn down.
All right,
zero.
so let's say
It's
0 for that.
completely, I mean, it's
Yeah,
an eyesore.
okay. We also have Banner Oak School on here, which I think they just replaced the roof on that not too long ago, so I'm thinking, what, another 15 years?
That's a township park, isn't it, along with Anstead and Wheeler?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't think that's,
On
I
our
don't think
thing,
that's,
I brought that up to them when they first gave me this, and they said they were going to check into it. So either they did and decided it's ours, or we're responsible.
I don't know anything about the Banner Oak School, because this is the first
All I know
time
is they
I've heard-
put a roof on it recently, so I'm saying 15 years.
0, yeah, 0, 0.
Okay, the acres at Samaria doesn't matter, but I think we need to add the Anstead Pavilion.
Well, I mean, they could start, you could, well, the
Because they didn't
23
put it
acres of vacant land, I mean, you start putting money away if they want to eventually develop it.
Into something, but we
Into
don't
something,
have
and
an
then it's-
idea yet.
Well, it doesn't matter, I mean, you still put money.
How much you wanna
away
put up
invest
every
it,
year?
You know,
How much you want? I mean, they're probably not going to give it to us, but
it doesn't matter, I mean, it's something, I mean,
10,000 a year, 5,000 a year.
10.
10.
10K, great.
Okay. Okay. The pavilion. Pavilion, Anstead Pavilion.
It's probably the same as White's and the others, so you're probably looking at $20K for a full replacement. Yep.
Let's say 25. Okay. And then Bicentennial Park, which they also gave to us. The gazebo
0.
over
Moving on.
there.
0. If the gazebo needs replaced, it can get tore out and be grass.
All right, thank you,
yeah,
gentlemen.
we haven't
I
had,
appreciate
we
that.
haven't had the funding to replace playscapes.
Anything.
Or anything else, I mean.
So this is a good step forward. If they would just have given us a little more clarification on what they want and how we should do it, I think it would have been helpful.
Send me a picture of that, Carol. I'll put it all in the notes.
I'm going to have to redo it, and then I'll send you a picture. But yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're finished with that. Anstead Preserve, I have nothing. We're down to the parks update.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Phew, man, what am I thinking?
Catch, Secretary. BBA.
It's BBA, and I'm going to read you her. I know, I got to get it here.
BBA rental.
Hold on, I got a bill from them right here for our table.
Yeah. So anyway, the Bedford Business Association would like to hold its annual picnic at Car Park this year. We did several years ago. We'd like to do it again. It includes our members, families, and volunteers. We're looking at Thursday, June 13th or Thursday, June 6th. Because of parking, we'd also need the pavilion. Blah, blah, blah. They're going to do a cookout.
Is this just the pavilion or the hall as well?
The hall and the pavilion.
Well,
They wonder if you would consider waiving or lowering the rental for the
I won't.
BBA.
They didn't lower our table cost, and they make plenty off of all of their members at the trade fair buying tables, as well as yearly memberships that they can donate money to the parks if they want to utilize the facilities. There's going to be a cleaning fee involved anyway, so the $350 rental for the hall, like minimum should be $200 to cover cleaning costs. Are we giving the BBA a
Utilities.
discount?
And utilities.
Yeah. Are we giving the BBA a discount that has membership fees annually?
That's the question. That's what, we're asking.
If anybody wants to motion for it, go ahead.
The other thing they're asking is a two-parter, is a bouncy house, because we don't allow those normally, so,
Legally, we can't with insurance on the land.
okay.
Summer parks
So
couldn't do it
that
either.
part is definitely a no. So now, do we want to give them a discount on this? I will put a motion forward that we charge the BBA $200 for cleaning for the use of the hall and the pavilion for that day. Do I get a second? Nope.
Thursday?
It's a Thursday, so not going to,
Thursday, we don't usually book on Thursdays, right?
Right.
Fine, I'll second.
there should be nobody in there but us.
They'd pay 200 instead of 300. And
Well, if you're including the pavilion, it'd be 400. You're
Right.
giving them half off.
Right.
It'd be 350 and 50.
Sure, I'll second for half off.
Did they give you guys any discount on renting the table?
No.
No.
So they didn't give you any discount?
No.
Fair is fair. Don't give them a discount.
That has
We have
Multiple
we
businesses
have-
with annual memberships versus a park.
What would Jesus do?
We have a motion on
Charge
the
'em.
table, so let's just go through and say yay or nay. Aaron?
Yay.
No.
Carol, yes?
No.
Chris, no? Chris, no? Okay, motion
discount, they
failed.
can
Motion
rent it.
fails. No discount. What a bunch of crap.
All right, so Anstead Preserve, the only thing I know there is that there's a lot of trees to be cut down yet. They haven't done the trail that they said they were going to get done over the winter, so we have to work with maintenance on that. Cars Grove.
The roof just got completed on the hall this past week. Other than that, we've got the courts getting bid and going.
Okay. Parmalee.
So we have a slab that is there that we should consider what to do with. I was thinking maybe create a temporary dog park if there's a surface that is conducive to such. Because I mean, we have the fence and everything. I mean, is there anything we can pour into there to like create?
I don't think a hard surface would be a good for a dog park.
No,
Just
I
'cause
know. Is there
yeah.
something we could like easily kind of pour onto the hard surface to make it dog friendly?
I think due to its issues with or with the problems with parking over there, we could put extend that chain link fence up the property line, tear that fencing out, tear the pad, or leave the pad and park on it.
Yeah.
But open the parking lot up.
Parking?
Yeah, expand the parking. That helps with the congestion over there.
For the time being.
Well, everybody think about it. It's not like we're going to motion anything right now, but I mean,
Problem with the hard surfaces, you also got to clean up all the mess.
Right.
'cause the owners aren't going to pick up all their stuff.
Right.
no. I mean, it couldn't be the hard surface. I wonder if we could pour something in easily and.
Like just sand,
Yeah, I don't know.
like a litter box.
Poured in, but I think about it. I mean, it's there. Something needs to happen there soon. Now that it's empty.
Okay. Samaria?
Nothing new. The hall got cleaned. Looks a lot better. So
So do cars.
Yeah, good. Okay. All right. White? Nope. Nothing? Wheeler? What is going on? They didn't put the trail through the woods yet on
Say
Wheeler.
Wheeler and Anstead, we need to get
We need
rough
to get-
ideas of numbers of how much, whether maintenance goes over and does it or we do or what, of how much walking stone, path stone we're going to want. We're getting mulch for all the playscapes this spring. We need to get walking trail stone and all that so maintenance can get it spread.
Anstead has like 3 areas in the back that they really
Along
need
the
to
side
build it
route,
up.
Too, is
Yep.
really low.
They need to build it up because we just have, I don't know how much we did last year, but we should get,
Well, that's where
More than
does
that.
maintenance go through? Do they need us to go through? Let's figure that out.
I'll call, well, I don't know if I can call, but I was
Al
going
or-
to say, I'll call Al or talk, yeah, because I can't talk.
See
to
how they
Pat.
want to go about that. Because that's
Okay.
going to be need an expenditure on that. We need to figure out about how many yards.
And we need it at White. Where else do we need stone
stone.
for the trails? You probably need some at Samaria for your parking lot.
I guess since you kind of got a rough number from Pat, is Pat willing to do that on Anstead and Wheeler and like get it a
Figure out
rough
how much
number of
we
how many
need.
yards we
I
need?
could talk with him because he'd know better. I know.
Okay.
I know either early last year or the end of the year before that it's with rock you're going to be getting by the ton, and we had 50 ton delivered, and it was I think it was at Anstead just one small distance took it up.
Yep.
Just because it was another one of those things that just hadn't been done in a long time.
Yep.
And just going to White Park after a rain, I mean there's spots in the trail where there's
Pretty
just
muddy.
unwalkable. It's not just muddy. I mean it's underwater.
Right.
Could have had that paved.
Yeah, still be underwater.
So, yeah, I could talk with Pat and try to get a rough number on what he would think.
Great. Do that and bring it to our next meeting and we'll go from there. Pocket parks. Anybody? Nothing on the pocket parks. No complaints. That's good. Yes.
Centennial Park, I mean, it'd be nice if we could do something other than just chop the leaves up. I was there 2 weekends ago, and man, my kids were just playing in the yard with just filthy, disgusting. I mean, and it was just because it's
When they
a
mow.
good 2 inches in mulched leaves. I mean, it's shredded to nothing, but it's just so much there.
Be up to our
So-
maintenance when they mow to actually do like a leaf pickup.
I don't think they have the equipment for it is the problem. Their leaf blowers are little handheld ones,
Yeah.
and they don't have any type of bagging systems on their mowers.
Need a vacuum on their mower. Yeah.
It'd just be nice if something was figured, but I guess it's not a huge priority either. It's just a
Note for
small
this
thing
coming fall.
just a small thing at a pocket park. That's
Note for this coming fall.
Okay, back to comments from the public. Anybody want to step up and make a comment?
Jim Sheeb, 6054 Deadwood Drive, Toledo, Ohio. I'm here as a board member of 3B Baseball. I just wanted to provide a quick update to you guys. We recently finished our drafts. We have 400 registrants, so approaching 40 teams just for summer ball. Our season will start towards the end of April, and we appreciate your guys' support. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? No? All right. Commissioners' comments. Yes. First.
I just want to encourage everyone in the community to continue to come out, and we got a lot of people here tonight. Not a lot of people voiced their opinions or talked. That's fine, that's up to you. But continue to bring out ideas. The board has already approved spending about $250,000 to put in new pickleball courts because we had some pickleball people show up in a meeting. We've approved to spend $750,000 to $1 million to put in a pump track and skate park. That does nothing for anyone who's wheelchair bound. We have nowhere in our park system with paved trails for anyone who can't get up, anyone who is stuck using wheels as a mode of transportation. We have nowhere to push strollers. We have nowhere to bikes, blade, or board. So getting a trail paved would be nice. Our playscape at White Park, which is one of the nicest, bigger ones, is literally so old it is rusting through. We've had steps where it's rusted through and we've had to take them out of service because it's dangerous. We also, if your child plays soccer, football, or lacrosse, we as a park system have no large open flat spaces to practice or train in any of those facilities. We used to have some at Indian Creek. It wasn't kept well, and we didn't work it out with the schools. We gave it back to them. I haven't been over there. Maybe they're taking great care of it, but as a park system, we should provide you with something like that. And then an inclusive playscape. We should have one of these. I don't know how we don't. But that's it. Please continue to bring your ideas. Come to the meetings. Squeaky wheel gets the money, so show up. That's it.
All right. Chris?
So yeah, a little on what Chaz said. I mean, our parks, essentially, I mean, they're outdated. Playscape's rusting through. There's another spot at White Park's Playscape right now that's got a rust hole going through the platform. The slides are starting to crack. They're wavy due to just the heavy usage over the years. And a big issue is just lack of funding for the parks. The options that the township has leaned on are for township residents to step up and take their time to fill out grants and hopefully be awarded money for our parks. But so far it hasn't worked. As you can tell, I mean, just walking around our parks from afar, they look nice. When you drive by our parks, they look decent. But if you walk and really look at our parks, they don't look that great right now. And they haven't for a lot of years. So, and a large portion of that is just lack of funding. So the only really real options for it are going to be either a millage, donations, or the township steps up and starts funding the parks properly.
Okay, thank you. And I can reiterate all of that. And the only other thing that was mentioned to me several times, like I said at the trade fair, was that the residents would like a dog park somewhere. There's so many people that, live in apartments or live in condos. They've got no place to exercise their dog. You have to take your dog out on a leash all the time. You can't play ball with them. They're looking for a spot, some fenced-in spot where they can exercise their dog. So hopefully we can put that on our radar for some future usage and planning.
I've got nothing more to add than reiterating everything.
Okay.
It's been going down the line.
Aaron? All right.
As far as action items for me, I have to have the approval of the court design at Cars Grove added to the agenda.
Yep.
So I'll send that, give the okay to Trudy for whatever you send over to her to put it on the agenda. And you guys also want me to find out from Bob what they're going to do. Are they going to give us more money for the Porta-John since we're at zero balance now?
It's number 2.
Right.
Anything else?
On the agenda has got to go mulch.
Mulch on the agenda.
We're looking at 560 yards at $24 a yard. That's 13,440.
Okay.
If we can't get money for the Porta-Johns,
All right.
can always use the
We
mulch.
yeah, you go.
All right, so next park meeting will be Monday, March 25th, right here at the Government Center. Do we need a cow meeting before that for anything?
Not that I
For
have
this
motion to adjourn.
skate park?
Are we going here? Are we not going back to car? In the
We're right
parks?
here. Yeah, we're going to stay right here for now.
I'll motion to go to car.
Let's wait until we get to April. Let's finish out March here, just for the heck of it, because it's easier on George and what he has to do for us.
I'm sorry, I don't see any benefit to going to car park. I really don't.
I mean, if we go from, like we did before, from park to
Second.
park, we'd be fine.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? All right. Adjourn. Thank you all for coming. We are officially adjourned.